guys, welcome back to Dark Souls 3. Stuff, do. We're here with Tim. Tim, my main man, buddy, guy, thing. And,
yeah.
yeah, in the last episode, we mostly talked. We didn't do a whole bunch of action. This episode, though, there isn't a whole lot to go over, and we're going to be actually fighting a boss. So, yay, you know? A whole episode of not
Hopefully
fighting
we don't
anything.
have another problem with an invader like we did last episode. That one really sucked because all he did was hide behind mobs.
Yeah. Anyway,
but it's whatever. Everybody has their own tactic.
So, I've already been over the Claymore, and a couple of you might be asking, well, if the Claymore is weird and imbalanced and shit, why are you using it? Well, for this run, I plan on running the Claymore. I actually do enjoy it as a weapon in this particular game, not in the second or first game. So, yeah. Anyways,
It just said you did 3 damage to him.
Yeah, because I landed on him. Anyways, something I'm going to show you. If you can go fast before this guy can transform, and you kill him, he will not transform.
But he
something
also
I'm actually
items.
kind of happy that you like. And, yeah. I got one of these earlier, but we're going to go over this, because fuck it, I'll let Tim do it.
Twinkly bugs.
I'll let Tim do it. Not the twinkly bug, but the gem. The raw gem. Take it away, Tim.
The raw gem. Okay, so the raw I don't remember in Dark Souls 1. I believe it did bleed build up, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's different about this is raw in this one, what it does is each weapon has 2 forms of physical. It has its critical physical, and then it has its regular physical. What raw does now in this one, instead of doing bleed, what it does is it takes away that critical multiplier bonus that you get from melee, cuts it down by a percentage, but adds it just directly to your basic melee damage. So if you're one of those types that get out quite a few combo attacks and can land quite a few of them, and you never get critical attacks, like say for instance when you jump forward and someone hits you while you're jumping forward, because your character's exposed, you take critical damage, so it makes a special thud noise. That's what critical is. As well as for backstabs, riposte from parries, all the other sweet jazz. So pretty much what raw essentially does is it just takes away that aspect of critical bonus damage and just gives it to base damage in general for those people that don't backstab fish or parry fish.
Yeah.
So, yep, pretty much that's all it is. Nothing too major, nothing too big, but can be very helpful in quite a few situations.
Oh, these knights are very difficult. I did get their gloves.
Yeah, I'll say
too,
so.
man.
You maybe eat up both of my Estus.
I got a lot of gloves out of that.
Nice. Woo! Ow.
Now, just like in some series I'll be doing later on, I will be going over the bios of each legendary that you can find. The broadsword I won't be going over, however, because it's basically just a quicker longsword. So
I'm gonna hang back a little bit so I don't get owned right away again, so we just don't have to keep, you know.
Anyways, we're actually gonna come across the
bonfire.
first legendary you get in this game, or what it's considered legendary. I think it's more unique. The Astora Straight Sword. I've
One
never
of my
used
favorite swords to use.
I'll let you do it then, because I've never used the Astora in my life.
Okay, so the Astora Straight Sword. The best thing and the best perks of this weapon is when you use it in combat, it is very good for clipping humans' hitboxes. For boss fights, it can be very difficult given since it is a short sword. It's got short range. And I just got blown up by shit. But anyways, the Astora Greatsword. It has an enormous critical multiplier window, so you can catch them off guard very easily. It's a good combo weapon, and it's good for it's a very well balanced weapon. In all, it's a very good starter weapon, and it's a very good late game weapon. It is good for pretty much everything you can use that requires difficult and awkward fights. It's good for PvP as well, for those PvPers out there, or possible newcoming PvPers that are looking for a decent starting weapon for low-level PvP. The Historical Greatsword I would highly recommend for people that have dex builds.
But, like each weapon in this game, every weapon has a downside, and that weapon is a huge downside.
Yep. The downside for it, I'll just let you guys figure it out and understand it on your own, because, you know, if I explain everything like that, then what's the point of really playing the game if I explain how the flaws, the perks, and drawbacks, and all that other stuff is?
Well, it's a legendary, so I'd recommend just going over it, but to make it short terms, it's a faith weapon. It is for faith warriors.
Yeah.
And if you think, you know, just because it doesn't have a scaling, you know, it wouldn't do a whole lot. Unfortunately, how this game works is that weapon can be buffed, and with any form of faith infusement, the weapon becomes
which can make it a very deadly weapon.
Yeah, it can make it massively overpowered. But the drawback is you need the faith in order to use it properly. 'Cause you can have 12 faith and just not give a shit, but you're gonna need the faith.
Yeah, the best way to tell is the upscaling system. Like, I don't remember if you've explained it or not, but the scaling system goes off of letter.
I should probably do that. I should probably do that.
Yeah, this is probably the best opportunity to explain it. I can go ahead and explain it. Pretty much, it goes off of scaling of A, B, C, D, and E for the letter ratings.
S is also in there.
And S as well. So pretty much, it goes off of the old classic Nintendo sort of ways of explaining it, because there's a lot of old Nintendo players out there, or, you know, upcoming Nintendo players that know those ranking systems. Pretty much, they measure, it'll say the acquired amount of, like, say for instance, strength, dex, faith, or intelligence you need in order to wield this weapon, and it'll show a letter underneath it. Depending on the letter is, which S being the highest, A being second highest, and then going down the alphabet. But pretty much, the higher the letter grade, the more your weapon will be affected by that stat increase. And that's pretty much how it works. That's
what
why
this game does,
it really relies on it.
And what this game does, and only this game, no other Souls game will do this. This game has a stupid drawback to its scaling. With each letter scaling, there's a specific amount of a stat that you would want to have in order for it to have its max damage. Such as, if I had a weapon that has, you know, like the weapon I'm using now, D in dexterity. The highest recommended you want to run for this when it comes to dex is about 20. You wouldn't want to go higher because then it actually downgrades the weapon's damage. This is the only game that does this, and not really sure why, considering in Dark Souls 2, scaling never really mattered as much. And again, nothing really mattered in that game. But you guys get what I'm going with. There's no reason on why this game does this.
Yeah, really the only thing that mattered in Dark Souls 2 scaling for its scaling points was infusements and spell buffing. That's really all it mattered for. That's why a Dark Chaos Katana buffed with Dark Weapon did intensifyingly overpowering amounts of damage.
A quick item I picked up, because you can actually surprisingly get it this early in the game, is the Ring of Sacrifice. There's not really much to say about the Ring of Sacrifice other than its unique ability for this game. When you die, you will not lose your souls, and if you have souls somewhere in the world that you want to save, you can equip a Ring of Sacrifice and they will not go away if you die again. The only drawback to this ring... Yes, the only drawback to the ring is the ring will shatter, and you will lose your ember. So, that's the thing.
Yep. They don't have it like Dark Souls 1 where it saves your ember and your souls. In Dark Souls 2, you could have multiple rings of sacrifice, and when it shatters, the ring would just break, and you just go to a blacksmith and repair it, which in my opinion was not a good idea for a Dark Souls franchise, because the game is supposed to be hard. You're not supposed to have that luxury of keeping your things. But with that being said, it was also something unique to try to help introduce people into a Dark Souls series that didn't quite understand how it worked. And my sign's in front of the boss door. Did your headset die or something?
I forgot the thing was muted. Sorry. You're stupid. Well, no, because I was fixing my headset right now. I ran to the first bonfire by mistake. So. Well, I took the shortcut,
Can you want me to
but
meet you at the tower on the wall?
Nah, I'm at Vort. I just took that shortcut that leads back to the first one. Yeah. All right.
Alrighty, works for me.
So I'm gonna run down and get him really quickly before I continue going with what you want to go to. My dogs. Oh shizzle.
Yeah, I got the item required to summon Vortit. Or not summon Vortit, but be able to continue to the next area after you kill Vortit.
Yeah. Fun fact, actually, if you killed the Swordmaster, which I, again, said you don't have to, you can summon him for Vort if you are having trouble. So, yeah.
As well as there is a character that is wearing the Farum armor, which was originally introduced in Dark Souls 2, with an axe that you can also summon as well, but only if you are embered can you see these signs.
I'm just gonna... Oh.
I am at 3,000 souls.
I am at 4.
Nice. Man, I never thought I'd be so happy to have 3,000 souls again. I'm so used to having souls in like the 5 millions.
I know.
This is kind of a nice change of pace.
Okay, well,
Your
let's
character
go.
looks like a dude off of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Aragon. Anyways, I just got one of the a really rare drops, so I'll have Tim go over it. The Lothric Knight Long Spear.
Oh, oh, okay. So I'm gonna make this one short. I'm not gonna go into in-depth detail. Pretty much to put this in a short manner of speaking, the spear at a very, very early game, if you get it to drop, you decimate everything. Literally. You destroy everything. If you have an invader come into your world, it doesn't matter if they have a high-grade weapon. It doesn't matter if they got buffs up the wazoo. If you clip them with the spear, it does intense amounts of damage. It's just how the spear was set up for scaling. If you had the required stats for it, you would destroy people's faces.
The only downside is, like this game, it decides to play its own little form of RPG elements. And that is that some of the weapons that are really fun to use, they couldn't even be like super powerful, have really low drop rates.
Yep.
So if you really want this weapon, you're gonna have to farm the specific knight over here that has the spear. There are 2 of these enemies, but only one can drop the spear.
Oh, did you pick up the Lucerin?
Not yet. I'm watching Albert kick the shit out of this Lothric Knight.
Okay. Apparently it's more powerful than my katana. But I can't use it. I need 15 strength. Aww. Lion Knight died.
Yeah, I know. This thing clipped him. I've just been trying to kill him this entire time. Anyways, kill him, you get the Refined Gem. Let's let Tim go over that too.
Alright, so you have the Refined Gem. The Refined Gem, literally, putting it long story short, makes your weapon scale more off of dex than anything else. That's literally what the Refined Gem is.
Well, it evenly splits your scaling, actually.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of the other one. Yeah. Refined Gem goes between strength and dex. I got confused because there's 3 different types of gems that do that. But yeah, Refined splits it between strength and dex, trying to even it out as much as possible to give it more scaling. But the problem with Refined is sometimes it can negatively impact your weapon rather than improving it. Now, if you put refined on a claymore, yeah, that just makes it an evil tool of destruction.
This item, which you've not seen me grab, is the Lucerne. The Lucerne is, at this point, a very, very good early game weapon. Don't let anybody that does the community or whatever fool you. The stats that it can run at the start of the game are tremendous. You can basically run at 198 damage on a few things pretty early game.
Oh yeah, and it's very, very helpful.
The Lucerne can pack some really good weapon. It's not a, once again, it's kind of like the Uchigatana. It's not a weapon I recommend going through the entire game with, but going through early game to mid game, the weapon stands as a pretty good weapon. Anyways, get to go over this bad boy, so let's do this. The fog and mystical mist. This is Vort of the Boreal Valley, the first actual boss of the game. Don't let You'd fool you, he's just a tutorial fight. Vort stands out as very different when it comes to the game. He leads with an actual first challenge for beginners, leading at health with about 4,000. This man honestly is kind of a joke, but can deal massive damage, which leads to the only problem with this boss. And that is getting behind him or getting underneath him makes the fight easy. A bit too easy, actually. Other than that, Vort does damage called a new type of damage that they added to Dark Souls 3, which is called Frostbite. Frostbite is a very negatively impacting thing that could happen to you. It lowers your stamina regeneration and can also make it to where your Estus heals less health. That is probably one of the main problems with Vort, is if you get frostbitten, the battle's over. Unless you can not take any damage while Frostbite's going down. Other than that though, Vort is very, very fast, as you see in Phase 2. He can still deal massive damage and is just overall very, very powerful. I'm gonna heal after that.
He's like a turbocharging rhino. Yes, and another thing, if you're too close to him, when he does some of his charges, he will actually buff himself with Frostbite, and you start to take Frostbite build up while you're next to him.
Yeah. But that's
other
Vort.
than that, it's pretty much the whole boss fight.
And I'm gonna end the video here since, you know, that has been quite a bit longer than I'd wanted to. But hey, you know, it happened. So thanks everybody so much for watching. We will see you next time. Take care.